Tonight on CTV News at 6, police investigating South Asian community extortions try something different.
You try to figure out how can you nullify and eliminate that threat.
No charges, just quick deportation for suspected extortionists.
I think that is a real consequence that's probably harsher than any jail term that they would ever get.
A tense afternoon at City Hall for Edmonton's police chief.
So you're not sorry?
What can I be sorry for?
And students build a hoop shooting robot.
A lot of them have said to me multiple times that it was some of the best experiences that they had during their high school career.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Police are taking a new approach to deal with alleged extortionists targeting the South Asian community. As Amanda Anderson reports, police say deporting the accused instead of charging them is proving effective.
Edmonton police say extortions targeting the city's South Asian community stopped for 7 months after 7 people were charged through Project Gaslight.
In the spring of 2025, we saw a cluster of these extortion events now reemerge.
Lessons learned from Project Gaslight led Edmonton police to work with other agencies as it embarked on the new investigation called Project Al Extortion.
Because we understand that the criminal organizations that are responsible for these extortions travel across this country and seek to escape punishment by moving to different jurisdictions.
5 people were arrested. 2 of them, a 22-year-old man who police call the local ringleader and a 26-year-old man, have already been deported.
Working with CBSA, we utilize pertinent immigration legislation to facilitate the removal of these individuals from Canada.
Police say dozens are linked to the criminal network involved in the local extortions.
The structure of these groups is a tiered, predatory network of organized crime where the risk is local, the revenue is global.
The CBSA has initiated 372 extortion-related immigration investigations. 51 of those are directly tied to this investigation in Edmonton.
The CBSA can't remove a foreign national from the country until criminal charges are resolved or, if convicted, their sentence complete. While police say charges are important, involving the CBSA helped them resolve the problems faster.
Public safety is first and foremost, and you have complainants that are being terrorized in many ways through the actions of these individuals. You try to figure out how can you nullify and eliminate that threat.
That's probably harsher than any jail term that they would ever get. I would suggest that consequence is, if it is a forever ban from Canada, that's a huge consequence, and a lot of people don't want to risk that.
Criminologist Dan Jones says it's an interesting approach, but questions what happens if the individual wants to return to Canada in the future if charges aren't laid.
Until you get proven guilty in court, either by judge or judge and jury, you are presumed to be innocent.
Since the arrests, police say the extortions by this group have stopped in Edmonton. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Police have found the truck they believe was involved in a deadly shooting on Highway 2 last weekend. Police say Saturday afternoon, south of Leduc, some sort of altercation occurred between a pickup truck and a car. They say the car was shot at and the 22-year-old driver was killed. Police are still looking for the shooter. They're hoping to speak with anyone driving through that area around 2:50 p.m. who may have seen something. Crews battled a house fire at Edmonton's Garneau neighborhood this afternoon. Firefighters were called to this infill property on 108th Street and 85th Ave around noon. It took crews about 30 minutes to bring the flames under control. No injuries have been reported. There's no word yet on what started the fire. Mounties are investigating the Edmonton business at the centre of Alberta's healthcare procurement controversy. Tim Brooke has more.
For the past 2 days, these police vehicles have been outside MHCare's headquarters. Inside, officers are searching the building as part of their ongoing investigation. The medical supplier has found itself at the heart of a provincial procurement controversy. Its owner, Sam Maraish, invited high-ranking members of the UCP government to playoff hockey games. And MHCare has been awarded more than $600 million in AHS business.
A judge would have signed off and said, yeah, there's reasonable grounds to believe that the search will produce more evidence of a crime. So that's a pretty big step to go forward with an investigation.
The RCMP tells us this is just one of multiple search warrants being carried out. It's unknown where this investigation goes next, but right now it's conversation topic number one in the legislature.
Does the Premier still think corrupt care is a conspiracy theory?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The member opposite well knows that we cannot and will not comment on policing matters.
A lawsuit was filed by the former head of AHS over her firing last winter after she raised concerns about Marais and senior UCP officials. She claims some provincial contracts were purposely inflated and then given to government friends. At the time, the allegations led to the resignation of one Alberta minister who shared her concerns. All parties denied any wrongdoing, and none of the allegations have been proven in court.
This is an AHS matter, looking at AHS personnel, and we would ask for everyone to be patient while the RCMP does its work.
The government fired the AHS CEO and board for daring to ask questions about Sam Marais. That was not AHS, that was the government.
A note to Marais' legal team Thursday went unanswered. Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
A tense afternoon at City Hall for EPS Chief Warren Dreichel. A couple dozen people attended a police commission meeting to tell the chief what they thought of his decision to take a professional trip to Israel. As Jeremy Thompson reports, the chief is standing by his decision to go.
Congratulations, Chief. You divide the community tremendously.
A full gallery for this police commission meeting. About 30 people signed up for the public feedback portion. Almost everyone spoke about Chief Warren Dreichel's recent trip to Israel.
On behalf of the Somali community, on behalf of the Muslim community, on behalf of the black community, we are against this thing and we feel betrayed.
How hard would it have been for the EPS chief to say, I acknowledge that what I did has caused mistrust and pain in a time when the government of Israel has been accused credibly of genocide?
Last month, Chief Warren Dreichel visited Israel with a delegation from the Major Cities Chiefs Association, which paid for the trip.
There were site visits to locations across the country. There was meeting with community members, meeting with police officers.
Dreichel says it was about learning from police who work in a complex environment, and he did not anticipate such strong backlash in Edmonton.
There was a lot of good exchange amongst peers about things that we're doing in our cities in North America. I think the trip contextualizes a lot of things that we see.
The public comments weren't all critical. Two people came to praise the chief, including Stacey Levitt-Wright with the Jewish Federation of Edmonton. She says support for the chief is strong despite the imbalance at the meeting.
This is not an accountability crisis. This is a pressure campaign. He is being held to a standard that would never be applied if this destination had been anywhere other than Israel.
Commission Chair Ben Henderson, who approved the trip, has committed to reevaluating police travel policies and rebuilding trust with Edmonton's Muslim and Jewish communities. Neither he nor Chief Dreichel are stepping down, as requested by more than 24 groups representing local Muslims.
Is there an apology coming?
I'm not going to speak about that right now.
So you're not sorry?
What can I be sorry for?
Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Parkland RCMP have charged a man with sexual assault in a case involving an underage girl. Police say there could be other victims dating as far back as 1984. RCMP say 69-year-old Patrick Willis Fair is from Spruce Grove. He's facing 5 sexual assault charges. Police say they hope releasing his photo will encourage potential victims to contact them. Willis is described as about 5 feet 11 inches tall and 176 pounds. He has a slender build with white hair and wears glasses. An Edmonton woman whose husband had a medically assisted death last month is worried others could soon be denied that choice. He had Parkinson's dementia and was approved for MAID due to his decreasing quality of life, something that likely wouldn't happen under proposed UCP legislation. Nicole Weisberg reports.
They suggested Pilgrims because they thought it would be a really good fit for Mike.
Mike Pangman's final months had moments of brightness, including the days he attended an adult wellness program at Pilgrims Hospice Society. However, his wife says in January, Mike decided he wanted a medically assisted death after years of living with Parkinson's dementia.
At night, before he went to bed, he would be looking all over this house for something, but he didn't know what he was looking for. He couldn't be as physically active as what he used to be. He was a skier, he was a hiker.
Sharon Pangman says MAID was something she and her husband discussed since he was first diagnosed in 2019. She says Mike was adamant he did not want to go into long-term care.
And he had the opportunity to see what his life was going to be like, what was right around the corner for him, and didn't like it, and said, I don't want that for my family, and I certainly didn't want it for himself.
She says 2 different doctors visited their home before he was approved. Then, on Friday, February 20th, he died by MAID.
It was a day that was filled with music that he loved, food that he loved, family, friends. It was very much a celebration of his life.
This was a song that Mike and his music therapist wrote to me that Mike sang at his passing.
Sharon is disappointed others in Mike's position won't have the same opportunity. The province's new MAID legislation includes a number of restrictions. One is foreseeable death within 12 months.
We don't want to create unnecessary obstacles for those who are eligible under, again, the original intent of MAID, but we also want to find balance.
In recent years, the province says MAID deaths have more than doubled, going from 555 deaths in 2020 to 1,242 deaths in 2025. Pangman believes Alberta should be providing even more access, giving people like her late husband the ability to make an advance request ahead of their condition deteriorating. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
The province confirmed to CTV News today the new bill is not retroactive, meaning those who've already applied or have been approved for MAID can move forward with the process. The mayor of a community east of Edmonton says they were not given enough notice the only community school would be closing. The Buffalo Trail Public School Division says it has made the difficult decision to close Del Norte School in Innisfree at the end of this year. The school has 54 students in grades 1 through 12. The board says schools are reviewed every year to assess enrollment and the facilities. Innisfree's mayor says the school and community would have mobilized with proper notice of a possible closure.
We come together for a school. Every event, every need, the community meets it. The playground was funded by the community. The new pickleball court that went in, I think 3 years ago, funded by the community. Numerous Chromebooks in the school funded by the community. Every volleyball in the school is funded by the community. If there had been communication with us, we would have worked to find that. But when we found out late January, there just wasn't time. What this means to our community is it throws into question the sustainability and the viability of the village of Innisfree.
Evan Raycroft says he asked the board to keep the school open for one more year to give them time to find new arrangements. They're now working on other options to keep Del Norte open. The next closest school is Manville, about an hour school bus ride. Edmontonians are on the hunt for cheap gas as prices at most stations rise above $1.60 a litre. CTV's Connor Hogg spoke with drivers willing to wait to get a deal.
The line never seems to end at this Domo gas station on 118th Ave. That's becoming something of a local landmark for the lowest prices around.
I downloaded Gas Buddy, the app, and I did that last night, and so that's purely why I was drawn to this location.
The petrol procession getting longer and longer as our cameras hung out.
The price is a little bit lesser than the other petrol pumps.
The only reason I am motivated is I have a baby napping in the back seat, so I have time to kill.
I think it's 15 cents cheaper per liter.
Normally, I would not waste time doing this.
Extra time in the queue is giving customers some moments to ponder things, such as planning their days to be a little more fuel efficient.
I used to keep 2 vehicles. I stopped to 1.
I'll go try and hit the grocery store and another errand, kind of in the same loop.
While most are making do with this pain at the pump for now, an economist I spoke to says Edmontonians shouldn't be expecting these prices to go down anytime soon.
This could extend for most of 2026. I don't want to be a doomsayer and predict disaster, but it's hard to see how somehow this just goes back to business as usual.
Economist Moshe Lander says no end in sight to ongoing instability in the Middle East will likely cause extended increases in gas prices. He predicts the tipping point for many could come later in the year when summer electricity bills come into the picture.
We haven't even gotten through a visa cycle yet, so you haven't even gotten the bill with all of the extra gas costs.
Lander expects to see more carpooling and work from home requests if prices stay high over the coming months, as well as more people cutting back on unnecessary drives.
Why don't you walk to the grocery store and then take an Uber back?
I need to go somewhere close to where I live. I walk, man.
It is what it is, yeah. We have to live with it for now.
Many hoping those big numbers are a little smaller soon.
No, I wanted a receipt.
Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Students at Wauquentoin School are sharing their visions for the new Stollery Children's Hospital. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports.
Where's his nose?
Grade 4 teacher Kara Wees knows all too well what it's like to stay in a hospital long term.
My daughter Marigold was hospitalized at the Stollery when she was 7 weeks old. She had pneumonia and we lived in the Stollery for 40 days.
It's why she decided to turn her experience into a project for grade 3 and 4 students at Wauquentoin School. They were asked to design parts of the new Stollery Children's Hospital.
Building hospitals is complicated, so really the ability for kids to distill it down to its sort of primary elements is really amazing. We can design a really functional medical hospital, but we don't think like kids. And so if we are trying to design a space that is specifically for children, we always want to be mindful that the design is functional to kids.
Designs and ideas meant to replicate real hospital wards, bringing their visions to life.
For my oncology unit, I decided to do some curvy walls, which are fish tanks. It would be less scary for kids when they're coming to the hospital.
It would be nice if there was free snacks, but they're actually how about a bag of chips at least?
Their projects used 3D models with different types of patients and hospital beds.
Who's that sitting in the hospital bed? I'm pretty sure that's Spock. He's for scale.
It was also an opportunity to learn from real people who work in and use the hospital.
Whether it was engineers or people that work at the Stollery or families that have experienced the Stollery, they really got a holistic picture of what could work for families.
It feels really good because I'm helping kids, so it's kind of like a Stollery for kids by kids. I love that we're helping kids that are our age. Makes me really proud.
A big sentiment for Wees, coming from these mini hospitals.
I feel like they also worked a bit harder on this project because it meant something to me.
Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
A forum was held today at the Edmonton Convention Centre connecting newcomer entrepreneurs to business supports. Entrepreneurs from afar are among the hundreds of thousands of people who have arrived permanently in Alberta over the last few years. The forum wasn't just networking. Attendees also received practical guidance from experts and resources to help them harness their entrepreneurial spirit. In the crowd, a Michelin-trained chef from France.
My dream is to set up a high-end catering business which can cater for high-end clients and at the same time every other normal people.
The event's organizer says Statistics Canada data shows immigrants are more likely to start businesses than Canadian-born residents. All right, Josh, out and about tonight. Josh, what brings you to St. Albert?
We're in North St. Albert at the Big Brothers Big Sisters Dream Home and Win 50 Lottery Show Home. And I've got Daniel Edwards with BGC Bigs with me. Just a beautiful house. This could be yours, or you could take $1 million. The house is worth $1.1 million. There's another big prize that's up for grabs as well. Tell me about the deadline tonight.
Absolutely. So today's a really important day. Today is the last day to buy a ticket to be entered into our Early Bird 2 draw for a chance to win $46,000.
So there you go. Get your tickets before midnight tonight. You could win the $46,000, and you're in for this spectacular house as well. I mean, Veneto Homes did a beautiful job on this house. When people buy tickets, and I mean, incredibly reasonably priced on the tickets. Where's the money going?
Money is going to go to support our after-school and mentoring programs at BGC Bigs.
Okay, so 4,500 kids in the Edmonton area that you guys help.
Absolutely, 4,500 kids across the city and surrounding area.
And if people want to get tickets, what's the best way to go?
Absolutely. So we're a little bit lower in where we would like to be right now.
Sure.
The easiest way to get tickets is to go to our Dream Home website, so bigbrothersdreamhome.org.
bigbrothersdreamhome.org, and do that before midnight tonight. Daniel, thank you so much. Again, if you're in before midnight tonight, $46,000 early bird prize. You're in for that, as well as the grand prize. All right, take a look outside right now with the CTV drones, brought to you by Century Casino, St. Albert and Century Mile. 10 degrees. Third straight double-digit day here in Edmonton as we close out winter. Spring equinox is tomorrow. It's not going to feel as warm over the next couple of days or look as nice over the next couple of days as what we've had these past few days. You can see some rain off to the north and northwest of the city, some heavier pockets of rain there in the yellows and oranges, and it is now just starting to flip over to a little bit of wet snow just northwest of the city. So we're not under a snowfall warning here in Edmonton, but we will likely get some accumulation through the day tomorrow, especially later in the day. You do have snowfall warnings, though, for the Icefields Parkway and from Grand Cache south into the Hinton, Edson areas. I think at least 10 to 20 centimeters, some spots maybe even more than that. Here in Edmonton, chance of a rain-snow mix through this evening, and then some light snow. It's probably slushy tomorrow morning for the morning commute, and then gets stormy in the afternoon. Some heavier snow later in the day, gusty wind as well, and a lot cooler. Temperatures just barely above zero for a daytime high. We'll talk about estimated snowfall totals and take a look ahead to the weekend later in the newscast.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, can the Oilers declaw the Florida Panthers?
The same identities, they play the same style. They just don't have the same players. A lot of it has to do with the injuries they've had.
The Oilers host a rematch of the last two Stanley Cup finals.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The Oilers and Panthers will collide tonight in a rematch of the last two Stanley Cup finals. The two-time defending Cup champs are visiting Edmonton tonight. The Panthers are unlikely to make it 3 Cup wins in a row. With 15 games left in the regular season, the Panthers are 13 points out of a playoff spot. The Oilers head coach says they're still a threat.
The same identities, they play the same style. They just don't have the same players. A lot of it has to do with the injuries they've had. They're still a pretty good team, and anytime a team plays the way they do is very simple, hard on the forecheck, great on the details. They're give themselves a chance.
Tonight's game starts at 7. The Oilers will also celebrate Pride Night. For the first time, the Nate's women's basketball head coach has won the Canadian Coach of the Year. Kira Lyons was presented the award at the Canadian Collegiate Athletic Association National Championship, which is underway now. In the regular season, her team tied for first in the Alberta College League with a 17-3 record, and she was named the conference's Coach of the Year. Lyons says it's her name on the award, but it's a team accomplishment. Coming up, competing on the world stage.
A competition like that is definitely something that you'll remember in your life.
What these high school students learned while building this robotic hooper.
Some showers starting to make their way into the Edmonton area right now. That'll flip over to rain-snow mix for later tonight, and then snow, maybe several centimeters, gusty wind, and the start of a cool down tomorrow. Just in time for the first day of spring. Your forecast after the break.
The CTV drone powered by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
All right, grade 5s. On Friday, what's happening? It's the, everybody. That's right, the first day of spring, the spring equinox. Now, in the summertime, where are the sun's most direct rays? North or south of the equator? North of the equator, because we're tilted, the earth is tilted towards the sun. In the wintertime, where are the sun's most direct rays? North or south of the equator? South of the equator, because the earth is tilted away from the sun. Now, as we hit Friday, the spring equinox, where are the sun's most direct rays going to be? Right over top of the equator. The equator, that's right. So days are already starting to get longer, but after Friday, the sun's most direct rays will get further and further north of the equator. The spring equinox. Make sense? Yeah. Okay, good. These are the grade 5s from
Elementary.
Elementary School.
Oh, that's right. They are geniuses out here, weather wizards, and you are
CTV Weather Watchers.
Weather Watchers brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
A basketball player on a local high school team stands less than 3 feet tall, but still has star player status. CTV's David Owasik introduces us to an athlete that only stops playing when the batteries are dead.
Here in Fort Saskatchewan, high school students hit the gym with their designated free throw shooter. His agility, remarkable. His shooting, all over the place all the time. But his look, 2'5", 140 pounds, not at all a concern.
We focus slightly less on overall design and more on quality.
Nothing artificial about what it takes to ultimately put the ball in the basket. Solving problems, just as tough when trying to find success as a group.
The community and everyone working together and just all of us pursuing the same goal.
The students in the Sting Robotics program recently took their shooter to Vancouver to compete in what's called the first robotic competition, and it's a good thing robots don't sleep.
We had to actually leave about 3 in the morning to leave on the plane to head straight to the competition at 7 in the morning.
Every team had the same challenge: build a robot that hit the court running and tried to make it rain with as many shots as possible. A game, but with real-world parameters.
We are looking at absolute real-time engineering. We are looking at solving issues under tight time constraints and very tight budgets.
They came in 6th, and while winning would have been nice, turning theoretical principles from a classroom into actual feedback on a basketball court is being chalked up as the ultimate victory.
A lot of them have said to me multiple times that it was some of the best experiences that they had during their high school career.
And while these 3 grade 12 students will move on, using this as a foundation for the future.
It'd be pretty sweet to see something that I've helped design out in space somewhere.
For me, it's also pretty much engineering as well.
A competition like that is definitely something that you'll remember in your lifetime.
Staying behind the robot they built and the next group of students to tweak and improve and get ready for next year's competition and their shot. David Owasik, CTV News, Edmonton.
Now let's go back out to North St. Albert now. And Josh, changing seasons, changing weather.
Yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful show home. The weather tomorrow, though, a little ugly. Especially, I think, for the evening commute as opposed to the morning. The morning commute's probably slushy. It's not going to be beautiful. But the drive home, I think, is going to be a little bit worse. We'll get to that in a second. First, take a look outside with the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. That's a pretty ominous-looking sky, and it has started to rain here in North St. Albert. Action Furnace fixed rider, it's free. 10 degrees in Edmonton right now. That's the last time we'll hit 10 degrees for a while as some cooler air sinks in. 1 in Fort McMurray, 6 in Grand Prairie for a high today, and 9 in Red Deer. There's the heavier pockets of rain just northwest of the city in the reds and the yellows. In some areas northwest, it is now already starting to flip over to a little bit of a rain-snow mix, and we'll see more of that transition take place as the evening progresses. Heavy snow expected, Icefields Parkway, especially the southern half of that, and then through that Grand Cache, Hinton, Edson area, at least, I think, 10 to 20 centimeters worth of snow. Some spots could see 20 to 30 centimeters of heavy, wet snow. You notice that bullseye, though, that purple zone is just kind of touching, just kissing the west end of Edmonton. Most of the heaviest snow is going to stay to the west of us. Keep that in mind if you have plans to be on Highway 16 west of Edmonton tomorrow. It is going to be gross. Through the southern foothills as well, you're going to see some heavy snow. Whitecourt, Hinton, Edson areas, as we said, dealing with about 10 to 20 centimeters. I think here in Edmonton, watch the timing on this. There's chance of some wet snow overnight tonight. Heavy snow west of us through the early morning hours, but not a lot of accumulation by tomorrow morning. It's through sort of the mid part of the day and into the afternoon and evening that the heaviest of the snow moves through the Edmonton area. It does look like it's going to stretch by tomorrow afternoon all the way east into Saskatchewan, right along that Highway 16 corridor. And then by Saturday morning, it pushes off to the southwest of Edmonton. We're at 10 degrees in Edmonton right now. It's 5 in Grand Prairie, 8 to the south in Red Deer, and 0 in Fort McMurray. Take a look at the next 24 hours. Rain-snow mix. It'll start as showers, then change over to a rain-snow mix mid to late this evening. Light snow potentially through the first half of the day, and still light wind when you wake up tomorrow morning. But by lunchtime, those gusts kick in about 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. So you got blowing, wet snow. Once it's on the ground, you're not going to have a lot of drifting because it is going to be so wet. But while it's falling, those big wet snowflakes will be reducing visibility. 2 degrees for a daytime high tomorrow, and anywhere between about 2 and maybe as much as 15 centimeters of snow in the Edmonton area. I think probably about 5 to 10. 10 to 15 possible, but unlikely. 5 to 10 seems fairly likely by Saturday morning. Temperatures in the 2 to 5 range for Saturday, Sunday, and then closer to 0 with another chance of some snow Tuesday of next week.
Thank you, Josh. Coming up, international diplomacy at the White House.
We didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay?
Discussing the war in Iran while meeting with Japan's new prime minister.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
As in Canada, gas prices skyrocketed in the UK and across Europe after more Iranian strikes on key pieces of energy infrastructure in the Middle East. Meeting today with Japan's new Prime Minister, Donald Trump insisted his excursion, as he calls it, will be over soon. Here's CTV's Joy Malvin in Washington.
It's an honor to have you. Thank you very much.
Japan's new prime minister walking a fine line with this president, the pacifist nation condemning Iran and its pursuit of a nuclear weapon.
Only you, Donald, who can achieve peace across the world.
But like other allies, reluctant to jump into the president's war, offering economic support instead of warships. Trump is still bitter with NATO nations who rejected his initial call for military support to secure the Strait of Hormuz, a critical oil supply route blocked by Iran.
I expect Japan to step up because, we have that kind of relationship. I'm not surprised that they would step up. We don't need much. We don't need anything.
And with more attacks on oil and gas facilities in the Middle East, rattling energy markets, and fast becoming a global crisis, the Trump administration says it plans to remove U.S. sanctions on Iranian oil stranded on ships. Trump was pressed, though, on why he didn't inform allies first before going to war.
We didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay?
The president facing political pushback as the price tag mounts, and the Pentagon now asking for another $200 billion to fund this war.
As far as $200 billion, I think that number could move, obviously. It takes money to kill bad guys.
And that's raising eyebrows in Congress.
How long is this going on? Are there going to be boots on the ground? How much is this going to cost? And the answer on most of this is, I don't know.
Hoping to reassure Americans, the president claims his operation in Iran will be over pretty soon, saying that he has no plans to deploy ground troops at this time. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has appeared on controversial but extremely popular Joe Rogan's podcast, released this afternoon. Today's appearance is all part of Poilievre's American tour, which wrapped up today in the Big Apple. CTV's Rachel Aiello reports.
We're going to get you into the Prime Minister.
Absolutely. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre taking a bite out of the Big Apple.
It's great to be in the United States of America. Americans love Canada. That's the great news that I take away from this trip.
Before New York, Poilievre met politicians and executives in Austin, Texas, and also sat down with popular but divisive podcast host Joe Rogan for more than 2 hours to talk up Canada.
So there's a narrative in America, and the narrative is that you were about to win and your party was about to win But then Trump came along and said he was going to turn Canada into a 51st state, and everybody went crazy. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say they went crazy. So we're never going to be the 51st state. And I just wish he'd knock that off so that we can get back to talking about the things that we can do.
The Joe Rogan Experience is one of the most listened to podcasts globally, with an average 11 million listeners per episode. And Poilievre sought to leverage that audience, while confirming he hasn't talked to U.S. President Donald Trump about the trade war.
I've said, listen, I'll leave it to the Prime Minister to do the negotiating, and I've said I'll support him any way I can. Even in my visit down here, I'm sending him text messages to tell him what's going on.
Rogan has been criticized for platforming polarizing figures and spreading misinformation. He had invited Poilievre to come on during the last election, but the Conservative leader declined. Now, the party says the podcast is an ideal platform to reach more potential voters, but also speak to Americans.
And we had a great conversation. We need to harness the goodwill of the American people, and what better place to do it than on the biggest podcast in the world.
Tonight, Poilievre will further outline his vision for Canada-U.S. relations in a keynote speech at the Foreign Policy Association in New York. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Still ahead, skyrocketing vacation prices.
People are starting to plan a little earlier and really hoping that they capture those savings before the prices go up even more.
How the low Canadian dollar and global conflicts are impacting people's travel plans. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar holding steady near 73 cents U.S. Oil up 9 cents, closing at $95.55 U.S. a barrel. Gold lost $291 on the day. The TSX dropped 457 points. The Dow Jones down 203. If you feel like your teens are spending more time on their screens than ever, you aren't imagining it. A new study from Statistics Canada shows it may be taking a toll. CTV's Jacqueline Wilson reports.
It turns out that doom scrolling isn't just a catchy name. It's a statistical trend, and Canada's youth are finding it harder to step away from their devices.
So I'm up, I'm scrolling, I eat breakfast, I'm scrolling, I go to school, I come back, I'm scrolling. It's bad, it's an addiction, I don't like it, but I can't really stop it.
Researchers from Statistics Canada followed a group of youth ages 12 to 17 from 2019 to 2023, tracking their screen habits and mental health. Only 14% consistently met daily screen time guidelines of 2 to 3 hours per day.
Usually like 5-ish hours a day. Yeah, same.
The study found nearly 60% of those who stayed within the limit reported excellent or very good mental health. For those who consistently exceeded it, that number dropped to just 38%.
Among the girls and women, we noticed that those who followed the guidelines were more likely to report that they had not considered suicide in the past 12 months than the women and girls who exceeded the guidelines. On the other hand, when we looked at boys and men, we noticed that those who followed the guidelines were more likely to report getting a grade of 70% or higher in school.
Meanwhile, a new World Happiness Report shows Canada has dropped from 18th to 25th place this year. Researchers point to heavy social media use as a key contributor.
We are in a truly unprecedented time in terms of the rate at which everything is changing. For the first time, you could probably say in our species, youth who are becoming adults do not have a clear picture of what they're supposed to do.
Finland ranked as the world's happiest country for the 9th straight year.
They are connected. They're present with each other. They share meals together. They, engage with each other.
So put down your devices and engage with the world around you. The stats show it's good for your health. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
For Canadians trying to escape a never-ending winter with a trip down south, it's been an unusual season. Global instability has meant fewer options and sky-high prices. CTV's Judy Trin reports on how travelers are adjusting.
Your luggage is taken care of. This retired couple is booking their flight to Asia and their cruise a year in advance.
Japan and then Southeast Asia. And we're really looking forward to Japan.
But buying tickets early is already costing more than expected.
Prices go up 20-30% on flights for the summer, so people are starting to plan a little earlier and really hoping that they capture those savings before the prices go up even more.
The war in the Middle East is driving up the price of jet fuel. The average weekly price has climbed to $175 US a barrel, compared to $99 the week before the war on Iran began. Air Canada, WestJet, and Air Transat have already increased their fares. Other international airlines have tacked on fuel surcharges or reduced their routes. From the Middle East to the Caribbean, it has been a tumultuous travel season. Power outages and food shortages in Cuba forced airlines to suspend flights. Cartel violence in Mexico's Puerto Vallarta scared away some travelers, including these women who paid $500 more for their vacation package in the Dominican Republic.
When they didn't have gas and power, that's when it went up, but not for Cuba because we couldn't go. And then that's why we're going to Punta Cana. Even we wanted to go to Mexico.
Despite global conflicts, some travelers remain determined to see the world.
We're at a point in our lives where either do it now or never.
The low Canadian dollar is also having an impact. The loonie is currently hovering at about 73 cents US, where it's been stuck for the past 3 years, leading Canadians to choose destinations where their money goes further. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Still ahead, an Alberta balloon club taking off for 50 years.
It can be very addictive. It's quite the experience.
Many of its members still have their passion for hot air balloons.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV.
In the early 70s, recreational hot air ballooning was something relatively new, but a group of passionate Calgarians embraced the sport in its infancy. This year, the Calgary Balloon Club is celebrating its 50th anniversary. CTV's Kevin Fleming has more.
When he started flying a balloon 50 years ago, Brian Wall says it was pretty much learn as you go.
The training was, well, do this, don't do that. There's the manuals that came to fly these craft were sometimes 2 or 3 pages long, and that was it. You were on your own after that.
Wall is the founder of the Calgary Balloon Club and also wrote the manual for new pilots to follow. It's on display at the Hangar Flight Museum.
It can be very addictive. It's quite the experience. The balloon doesn't take off or fly. The balloon stays stationary and the earth drops away from beneath you.
Linda then is the club's former chief pilot and says the goal has always been to promote the sport in southern Alberta.
We started with training pilots, and then those pilots turned around and trained other pilots, and it kept going so that we built up a huge community.
Jagger Leatherdale represents the next generation of balloon pilots. At 13 years old, he's logging hours now so that he can get his license in a few years.
When I was like 7 years old, my mom, she had her license and she took me up for my first balloon flight, and then I just started falling more in love with ballooning.
Jagger's dad, Brant, has been a club member for 20 years and says you won't see many balloons flying over Calgary anymore.
Calgary's become a much larger city. It's more difficult to get across, so you have to have the right weather conditions, but also the right amount of wind to push you across, but not too much wind. So all the sport balloons have been pushed out into High River and other smaller communities to balloon.
Members say their best times flying are when multiple balloons are in the air at the same time.
I love the freedom of flying. It just is one spot in the world that you forget where you are. You're just floating along so peacefully.
Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
That is our show for this evening. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, visit our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. I'm Jeff Hastings. Have a nice evening.